Well, good evening. It's 6 o'clock. This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea, and we're going to do a live stream here, unannounced live stream for different reasons. Mainly, I haven't felt the best after this knee surgery. Actually, it was a knee replacement. Thank you for the person joining tonight. So I haven't been able to tell how good I was going to feel. I certainly have lacked energy. And surgery was about 30 days ago, the last day of September. And I have not felt good. I have not felt like eating. I know I've lost weight. I mean, you can tell, you know. Sometimes people say, well, you've lost weight, but you don't agree. But I've definitely lost weight because I just don't get any pleasure from eating. So all of this stuff happened during surgery. When I was in the hospital, I felt great. September 30th, that morning for surgery. Thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. And since being home, I have been as listless and lazy and apathetic as can be. And I thought first it was those opiates. I stopped taking them about 2 weeks, and probably just started taking more Tylenol. But that didn't help either. Stopped taking the tramadol, the oxycodone. That didn't seem to help. So I don't know. I'm not even taking pain pills right now, except for going to bed because I think there was some kind of nerve damage going on right now because my foot, my heel, my calf, that hurts all night. I can't do anything with it. And I always wake up, something wrong with my knee, my foot, and then I just can't get comfortable, toss and turn. So, my schedule's been completely turned upside down. Thank you for the thumbs up. So, but I did want to do a live stream tonight, even though I do not feel well. I want to do it for the sake of doing one because I care about the channel, and we can talk about some things tonight. I certainly hope. Feels like I haven't been at work for a year. It seems like I haven't done a live stream for 6 months. So we'll try to get through one today, and then I'm actually going to try to get something to eat. It's 6:03 p.m. here, United States, and it'll be about 7 a.m. in the morning where my wife is. She had to leave immediately about, I don't know, hard to tell anymore, week and a half ago. And maybe closer to 2 weeks ago, and run out and take care of some things. Uh, and that's certainly appropriate in the way it should be. She got me past the worst part of the knee replacement, and my mother lives with us. She's done a great job helping also, and I don't know where I'd be without the two of them. And I miss Aiza, of course, trying to stay in touch, but you got the usual problems with communication out there, with loads running out, and brownouts, and disconnections and stuff like that. So for now, you'll notice there at the very top of the comment section is a link to maybe the last live stream I did a few weeks ago, called "What Do You Say to Age Gap Protesters?" Now, the reason I'm putting that there is because it actually has a couple hundred views, but not just that. There was good comments, during the actual live stream, maybe more so than ever. But after the live stream is done, usually I don't get many comments on a live stream, but in the comments section, if you were to sometime click on that link, look through the comments that were made after the video, you would see comments made by a person named Christmas Trees. They probably have, I don't know, most of the comments. And they are an Asian woman who took me to task for my view. And hi, Walt Hollander. Good to see you here today. she took a great exception to my comments. Now, she was armed with an opinion that I think she's had for a while, and I know she admitted she goes to other sites and takes, I don't know what you call it, and I don't know if it's dialogue so much as just criticizing guys like me who are in an age gap relationship. And so I only deleted a couple of her comments. She probably has, well, if there's 160 comments, I'll bet she and I probably have 140 of them. And we go back and forth on this topic of age gaps. So I want you to look at that if you're at all interested in the full array of comments, contrary opinions, protestations that you will hear, whether you have a YouTube channel or you have an age gap relationship. But if you read that, you're going to see it all. And I do understand where she comes from in a lot of things, but there is such a thing as reality and things you can't change. And two people, a Westerner and a Filipina, attempting to make the best of their options. And so, you'll get a good education, I think, with just reading our comments. Even if you don't watch the video, it was 3 hours long, and that was without her contributions. But her comments are really interesting. I think it adds a lot of flavor to that video, and I think it makes it one of the very best videos on age gaps that there is on YouTube. And the one reasons I allowed the comments, because it really fills out that topic. So, Walt, how are you? I am still struggling from knee replacement. I feel like they took half my soul out, not just my knee, but all I can do is hope that gets better. You think age gaps should not matter, and age gaps, they can matter. I mean, we're talking about, are we talking about a 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40? I think many times they don't matter for a while. My wife and I have an age gap of 27. At some point in the future, while it may not matter today, at some point in the future, that's probably going to become more of an issue. But the thing about that is, I think the Filipina understands that. I think she can do the math like anyone else. And her foreigner or Western husband can do the math like anyone else. I'm sure the Filipina doesn't make a rash decision, and she does consider the future. We're talking maybe another 10 or 15, 20 years down the road. And I don't think she may feel like she doesn't have better options. She wants to marry somebody that's going to be more mature, somebody that's going to cherish her, somebody that can provide for her and her family a better life. And she looks over her options just like a Western man looks at his options where he is. And they decide, this may not be the norm, but I think she has what I want. And if I have what she wants, we're going to give this thing called marriage a try. Jay Bud, thank you for being here. Why should anyone worry about what others think? Well, essentially, they shouldn't. And one of the goals I had, Jay Bud, for doing that live stream, and I'm glad that all those comments came in from her, was because it's not just that Christmas trees had these sentiments, these protestings. She's not alone. And there may be people that you know personally in your sphere of influence, maybe where you work. And if you have a YouTube channel, you have an age gap relationship, you're going to hear a lot of things. And she pretty much covered every single one of them. Now, it probably shouldn't matter as far as what you do. The reason I put that out there was just in case somebody could be blown away by her comments, and we don't agree with everything she said, but some of the things, are understandable. And from her standpoint as an Asian woman, regrettable. I think she came on very, very strong, and that's certainly okay. I don't want to tell anyone what their opinion should be on this, and I allowed her to say her piece. But I left all these comments on there so people in posterity can look it over and say to themselves, oh, here's how I would respond to that. They could say, I liked how Bob responded to that, or I didn't like how Bob responded to her. I also left comments on there so you could see how to respond to those comments without being, defensive, swinging with your fists. I mean, she's not the only one that has those feelings, but essentially, no, it shouldn't affect you. But I think it doesn't hurt to know what people are saying out there. And I wanted you to see my remarks or responses to her comments throughout the comment section there after the video is complete. And check that out and see what you can learn from that. And Phil's to Phoenix is here tonight. And John, I would have let you know, Jay Bud, but this is kind of they call a kickoff decision whether I'm going to do this live stream. And, as much as I enjoy several cups of coffee, I think this might be the second cup of coffee I've had in a month. I think I had one during that live stream that we're talking about that I linked up there. What do you say to age gap protesters? And this might be the second one. I have just been too tired to even go for some coffee. So thanks for you guys for being here. Parabiology 101, thank you for being here. Jay Bud, not every Panay is willing to marry an older guy. It's a select group. And I agree with you. Not every Panay is willing to marry an older guy. I did a video a while back. It was a live stream. I think it was called something like, Is the Philippines Dead for Sex Pats and Marriage-Minded Men? It's part of the controversial collection of videos that are a little bit different than, most of my videos. And, things have changed to some degree, not my observation, but observations from people that have boots on the ground. Things have changed. And so it doesn't mean that just because foreigners are having a little bit more of a difficult time, thank you for everybody here tonight, in striking up a relationship with a Filipina. There's competition from, Koreans, and there's more competition for them. And but I still think there's plenty of Filipinas around that I would not dissuade or discourage anybody from looking to marry a Filipina. But Jay Bud is correct. Not every Panay is willing to marry an older guy, and I think it's becoming a little more difficult than it was, 5 or 10 or 20 years ago. Too many guys think that all Panays want foreigners, and that's not true. Many of them are, well, I can't speak for them because I've never interviewed, and maybe Jay Bud has. Jay Bud, I know you have extensive research on this. If you can, why don't you let us know if you have talked to some Filipinas who just say, no, thank you. I know there's Filipinas interested in older foreigners, but I am not one of them, and here's why. It's you. In some cases, there is a stigma. I want to be totally honest here, or I don't have the integrity to have a channel. In some places, there is a stigma in the Philippines that is about younger Filipina, older man. And so but that's, many Filipinas will still marry a foreigner, older foreigner, but Jay Bud is right. Some want older guys, some don't. When I was on Christian Filipina back in March of 2017, looking at profiles for a wife, when I saw how many women 20 to 30 preferred, according to the profile, older Westerner, I said, okay, let's see about this. There were some, not many, that only wanted somebody within, a couple years of their age, like you would see here in America. And so that does happen. I have heard younger guys complain that, I've gone on these dating sites and all these Filipinos want is these older men. And you'll see a lot of that, but that's not always the case. In fact, on my phone, I'll get a lot of suggested, recommended videos now with younger men who have gone to the Philippines to meet a woman. I don't know why that didn't pop up before, maybe because I wasn't looking at, first time meeting younger guys with Filipinas, but they certainly are coming through now on suggested videos. So that is good to see. That also provides some competition for the older foreigner. That does not mean the situation is dire at all, but it is becoming a little bit more competitive. Proper selection is important, and I would like to think the Filipina takes the time to talk through her decision with her family, her parents, her significant others, let's say people that would be her sponsors in a marriage, and doesn't just throw caution to the wind and say, hey, I think I'm just going to leave this country I've been in all my life and everybody I love and go marry some foreigner. That seems, highly unlikely. Hank Fil-Am. Younger Filipinas are catching on, I tell you what. Are you saying, Hank, that, and thank you for being here, that the younger Filipinas are, like I've been saying, are more open to younger guys? Are you suggesting that they are, I don't know, just less pleased or more picky now? Or they've noticed things about the Westerners that they think they can do better somewhere else. I appreciate that comment, very interesting one. Hank Fil-Am was Enrique's live stream. Gio said more and more young, handsome foreigners are snatching up the young Panays. And I'm not surprised by that. I do have one of the things that's in the title here, tonight's live stream, called Age Gaps, Soulmates, Earthquakes. That's some of my recent videos, and the younger viewers, because right now on Love Beyond the Sea, I have a rather alarming, not alarming in a bad way, but a surprising amount of younger men watching this channel. Don't know exactly why that is. I'm certainly pleased with that. I don't have favorites. Whether you're 20 or 70, the goal is to help people find love beyond the sea. Gio, I would agree with. Gio has spent, 3, 4, 5 years now in the Philippines, moving around different places. Younger guy, 40s. I'm talking about younger than that. When I talk about Filipinas and being more interested in younger guys, I'm talking like 20s, 30s. And so I'm a subscriber of Gio's channel. I enjoy watching his videos when I can. And well, I think that's, what can you do? That's competition. However, your chances of finding a suitable, good mate in the Philippines are still probably a lot better than in the West. Only you can feel for sure about that. And I do have, for any younger guys that are noticing this, I do have videos, a few of them. I've got a few more. I just haven't taped them, but I've got them all prepared, like about 210 videos I've got written out already, and I've still got some more to work on while I'm home recovering. And I'm very open about their pluses, the positives they have to attract a Filipina. Having said that, older foreigners have always had pluses too, and so that's why I would not give up uh, whatsoever if you're an older guy. But thanks, Hank, for that comment. J. Bud, foreigners marrying Panays need to be ready for a younger attitude, lifestyle, energy, etc. And well, considering, many guys, thanks for the thumbs up. That's a reminder. I do appreciate people here. I am very careless to suggesting to subscribe to my channel. It tends to slip my mind, and I just focus on what we're doing. I do appreciate thumbs up. I do appreciate subscriptions, and that's all very good. I'm in this for the long haul. It's all about relationships in all kinds of ways. The longer I'm married, the more things I'm going to think about. Hopefully, things that haven't really been talked about that much. That's what I would like to do. But yeah, younger attitude, lifestyle, energy, that can be an issue. So why not, before you're married, say, look, I'm 64 years old, or 55 years old. She's 25 years old. Let's look at the next 10, 20 years. How do you think about this? What do you see yourself doing when you come here to my country? If you want to bring her over here, talk about what your daily life would look like. I mean, these are good things to talk about. Is she going to work? If she works, is she going to drive? I always suggest being very uncontrolling of the Filipina. That's the last thing she needs or wants. So marry somebody you trust while you're getting to know them. And the energy level, probably she's going to want to use that energy level to work. If she doesn't want to use it to work, you may regret that she wants to use it to go out and do things, and you might not feel after a hard day at work of as being as energetic as she is. And we did, I think J. Bud had this idea one time. We did a live stream called Generation Gap and the Younger Filipina. And I'll plug that one there because that goes into a lot of attitudinal things when you marry a younger woman. And I've got other videos too on the dynamic of marrying a younger Filipina. And that can be a good thing. Younger attitude, lifestyle, energy. You just need. I'm not saying you have to match that energy. Certainly, I can't match Aiza's energy. She uses a lot of it for work, for taking great care of our house, and I do appreciate that. Frankly, I'm kind of glad we're both homebodies and we work and we don't have to, paint the town red. I'm not interested in that at my age at all. And that works for us. So thank you for that comment, Jay Bud. And Phil Phoenix, glad you're here. I know you've been very busy, John. Your wife and her family here seeing the United States of America. It's not uncommon to see Filipino couples with large age gaps. Cindy's parents have a 12-year age gap. My wife's family is not very far off, maybe several years. Not uncommon at all in the Philippines. And this Christmas trees, as I mentioned in that link on the live stream what do you say to age gap protesters? She threw out everything, including the kitchen sink, that I tried to respond to. That's why I would encourage somebody someday to save time, just scroll through those comments. You can leave a comment. She had so many of them, I couldn't even find them to respond to. And it's a good thing I wasn't working, or I just, wouldn't have been able to respond to many of them at all. But I tried to, and hopefully you can learn something from those responses. But she said that a 10-year age gap, in her opinion, no big deal, had a chance to work. She just didn't like the idea of a 20, 30-year age gap, and, considered it prostitution because the woman had to, even though it was marriage, and you had the family's consent, that she was doing it because she had no choice. And she didn't enjoy it, but she had to do it anyway. And you know what? She's saying a lot of comments that are hard to disprove. All you can do is know in your own situation and the people you know who are married to a younger Filipina, what do they tell you? How do they get along? And the ones I know are not coming across the way she felt. 12 years over there, unusual here in America, not unusual in the Philippines. Parabiology 101. I'm 47. My top two picks, 21 and 22. We do have a lot of things in common, though, and that is good. So you're talking 26 and 25 years difference. And I wish I was 47. I'll tell you what, that seems like a long time ago, but I'm really struggling through this knee replacement for whatever reason. I certainly don't feel 58. But yeah, I'm glad you're 47. You got a lot of energy left, I'm sure, and I'm glad you got a couple choices in a way. But then again, I know another guy who had two choices, and it was very, very difficult for him because, how do you decide? How do you make the final cut? You keep going back, and hopefully, Parabiology 101, your choice will be clear, and I'm sure that your other choice prospect will be disappointed if she doesn't win out. They always are, but as long as you're honest with her, she'll respect that. So yeah, Parabiology 101. I don't know. Some of you guys might be shocked to see some of her comments, because she didn't just swing. She put on brass knuckles and was swinging away. And so I tried to answer her as as honestly as I could, and as unemotionally as I could. And it's possible somebody could even learn something from that. I don't know. That's why I left them all up there. Thank you for everybody being here tonight for this unplanned live stream. Hank Fil-Am, I think the younger Panay's like 20 to 22 who get with older men aren't middle or upper class. That is certainly quite likely. I can't disagree with that. Upper class Filipinas, in all likelihood, are not interested in older foreign men. And then to a lesser degree, middle class Filipinas may not be interested in older foreigners. And so then the ones that are left probably are more interested. And, there is a big financial aspect to this. Where I disagreed with Christmas trees was that it was a matter of gritting your teeth, hating it, being disgusted, marrying this guy. I would like to think that before a woman would resort to that, she would consider other options. I don't know. I just don't think it's quite like that in every case. Spike X Spiegel, where did you go here? It's only competition until you're married. And the great thing about that is you just can breathe a sigh of relief and focus on the person that you married, and no more, contacting all these women, and you're going to find out, I think, about each other more once you get married, especially to a Filipino, because you just haven't had the time to be with each other in different situations. And Spike X, you're one of the younger men that I was alluding to earlier. The reason I say that is because, according to the statistics, again, for like 2 or 3 months in a row, believe it or not, sometimes it's hard to believe the statistics, the analytics. Most of my views, by far, are from the 18 to 24 year age gap. There's a little bit higher percentage in the 25 to 34 group, except they only watch it for like 30 seconds of video. It's over 4 minutes of video in the 18 to 24 year age group. And obviously, I know people here that are subscribers that are, in their 40s, 50s, maybe 60s. But nonetheless, that age group has dropped off my analytics. It used to be 100% were males and 100% in the 45 to 54 age group. At one time, it was another decade above that. No more. For the last several months, it's been 18 to 24. So, whatever a younger guy wants to talk about, whether it's younger Filipina, I certainly am willing to answer your questions about that. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for everybody here tonight. If you're an older guy interested in Filipino, you know what? Don't worry about the competition, because there's a lot to pick from. There are a lot of options. So that kind of makes it feel less like there is competition. Michael and Heidi, thank you for joining us, Michael and Heidi. I hope your wife is safe. I know we're all concerned about our fiancés or spouses in Mindanao. They keep coming up with earthquakes, which is something I did a video on recently about frustration of not being there with your Filipina, and sometimes, not being able to communicate with her when you've got these disasters taking place can be a very lonely, frustrating feeling. I know from my experience at 45, many Filipinas are surprised why at my age I would go to the Philippines. Like they were expecting foreigners only in older age, like above 40. Well, now we're talking, 20s and 40s and 60s. And so a lot of people are going to the Philippines still. No reason to wait until it's almost too late. When we're young, we probably don't feel the clock ticking. I have a video called, "Is It Too Late to Find a Filipina for Love?" You get older, you might have to adjust your game plan a little bit. You might have to go to that hurry up offense because you're in the fourth quarter, maybe even later, for all you know. And you just may have to rely more on gut instinct and experience and trust than raw data, because you're running out of time. Now, somebody in their 40s or even 50, you have more time. Somebody in your 20s, you may not feel like it, but you do have even more time. And there's guys in their 20s going to the Philippines, and now some Filipinas, say no, I don't like that because I don't trust the younger men. It's not just about earning potential. They'll say, well, I keep reading about these untrustworthy foreign young men. I'm just not going to take that chance. But younger men, you need to convince her that you're a one-woman man. You have more years of earning potential than an older guy, and that's something you should talk about. Um, you should also realize that you're in better health, better shape than a lot of us are. You're going to live longer with that Filipina. You know, my, my wife wishes I was a bit younger so we can live longer and together, and so do I. But it was either marry a Filipina or stay single. I didn't want to do that. So, there are benefits for a younger guy. You may have to work a bit harder to show her that you are faithful, because she might be thinking you're just like a lot of other younger men where she is in the Philippines, or that she may have read about in the West, who are just players. So if you're not a player, if you're a serious guy, you need to let her know, and you very well may catch her eye. But yeah, I mean, there's things maybe are changing there. No longer is just 60 men, but men in their 40s, 30s, 20s. Hank, Fil-Am also depends how well you take care of yourself. You could be 52, but look like you're 40 if you stay fit and eat well. That's a good point, Hank. I don't know why that would not be an advantage to a Filipina. When I married or started communicating with my wife, uh, I could lift weights. I was in a lot better shape. Not that I look like, crap today. I just feel like it right now. But, that helps. It should help. If you're in better shape, you should have a little more energy, and you should be able to live longer with her. Maybe that should help in the bedroom too. Being able to stay fit or get fit is certainly a good idea. I'm glad you said that. JBud 5000, marketplace value is much more important than age. If she is an 8 or 9 and the guy is below 5, he is being dumb. And it can still happen, though. You do see that. That's where you would run into more potential danger with bringing someone like that to the West. If she's an 8 or 9, she's 22 years old, and you're below 5, like J Bud says, and a lot older, better be sure that you trust her. So again, those relationships still can work out, but I see guys and Filipinas that are more evenly matched. If you want to assign a numerical value, not all Filipinas that marry foreign men are, Miss Philippines, and a lot of times, well, I would, if you're over 50, I would think it would be wise to pick somebody that's 25 or older. A lot of guys just think the younger is better, and if you're younger yourself, like the gentleman parabiology said, he's 47. Well, 47, that'd be great. I wish I was 47. It's a little bit different with a 22-year-old than someone that's 60. That's where I think it can matter. If the age gap is really vast or he's really older, then it can become a little more problematic. So marketplace value, sexual marketplace value, obviously, you just have to be confident in yourself. You marry somebody that's a lot younger, you have to learn to not control her, to not be insecure, to not be defensive, to trust her, treat her like your wife. don't make her think that she has to be afraid of getting outside and meeting people. Um, I haven't had any trouble with Aiza. I don't know of any trouble that she's had. She's busy working, taking care of us, and you know, I'm glad I got married to her. We have our issues like we all do, and that's going to come across in my videos. I mean, I'm not going to be naming particulars, but that's why I have videos. I have to deal with conflict and how to maintain your composure and things like that, because that's going to be needed. That's for sure. That's a current picture for me, so I look great for my age, though. Parabiology 101. I'm sure you do. I think I looked better when I was 53 at that time. And of course, I had my hair colored, and I lifted weights, and I probably wanted to know. At that time, I wasn't into taking pictures. I wasn't into social media. I didn't even have a webcam, but I did have one picture of how I looked, in like what I would lift weights in, and that's the only one I showed, and that's the only one that my wife saw. Thank you for everybody here and the thumbs up. So obviously, to me, I felt like rather than taking a new snapshot, I'm going to put that one out there and see where it gets me. Now, having said that, it's not like my wife ever oohed and awed over my, physical characteristics. And I know one of the things Christmas trees emphasized a lot in that live stream I linked at the top here in the comments was physical attraction. I look weird that way. I don't want to do that. Physical attraction. And that was extremely important for her as an individual. But I do think that women all over are a little bit more, forgiving in that category, and are able to look for other type of qualities before she would marry someone. Let's try to find where we are here. Phoenix, many Filipinas view an older guy as more stable and past the chick boy phase. Where did your comment disappear to? Okay. Yes, you're right. That is definitely a viewpoint. If they wanted somebody that was a player, they could find that in the Philippines. They may feel that an older Filipina will simply adore her and treasure her and cherish her more, and also would be more stable in income. But really, guys, you need to talk about when you marry, where is the money? There will need to be family support. That's a given. Is your Filipino wife going to work? Are you more than happy to have her be at home and help her family yourself? But these are not things to talk about after immigration or after marriage. These are things to talk about before you get married. And even at that rate, things can change after you get married, and things that could happen back home that didn't happen before. We've got all these earthquakes going on right now that could totally change the situation for someone. Parabiology 101. I think I missed your comment. Let's get back to it here. I received messages from over 500 Filipinas when I went on date in Asia, most 20 to 32. Yeah, with an age range like that, you're going to have your hands full, and it's probably going to be cumbersome, impossible to keep everything together. So, but that's common experience. It makes your choice harder, and somehow you whittled it down to 2. So you did a great job with that. And that's a current picture of me, so I look great for my age, though. And I will click on that later. I'm afraid to do that now because I don't want it to mess up what I'm looking at here. So yeah, I just realized now you had your picture on there. Phil's Phoenix, many Filipinos view, okay, I might admit that. It's more stable past the chick boy phase, and I agree. A good point there. And if you're stable at 45 or 47, not only do you have the financial stability, but you're a spring chicken as far as I'm concerned. My goodness, 45 or 47, good for you. Hank Hilliam, of course, for guys, looks don't matter as much, but they also don't hurt. Looks don't matter as much, but they also don't hurt. Well, I'm not sure what you mean. Looks, I think that's, Hank, why the most guys are looking at, not all, most guys are looking, they just start. The default position is 18 to 22 because those women are younger, but you know what? They look good, but so do women who are 24, 26, 28, or 30. A Filipina that's 30 can pass for 20 very easily. And, usually a guy, even if he is, like Jay Bud said, a 5 or something, we all typically are attracted to women who are in their 20s. That's normal. And have a look that appeals to us. I think you should be attracted to the Filipina you marry, but it's just, you can get to the point where you're too picky, way, way too picky. A person could be more picky than they should be and actually, slow down their chances of finding someone. Women, looks not quite as important because they, I think that's, Christmas trees would probably disagree with me, but it's hard to imagine as a male looks not being number one, number two, and number three on your list of qualifications for a wife. When you're a younger guy, let's face it, you think that the right looking woman will provide endless satisfaction, endless happiness. You'll never be unhappy. You'll never have any trouble. And that's what looks can do for you, because it can be very overwhelming. Most women, I think, I don't know how it is. They're just not, I think they're just wired to consider looks, but they're also thinking about family. They're thinking about children. They're thinking about, being practical. They're thinking about being loved and adored and not beaten, wanting somebody that's loyal, things like that. Younger guys don't want to put up with Western women, Hank Hilliam, and that seems to be a growing trend, where what I would want to do here on Love Beyond the Sea, since I do kind of focus on the Philippines because I married a Filipina, but I understand because I was young once too, couldn't find anybody in my 20s, 30s, 40s, got to be 53 and before I married a Filipina. Never even thought of it because I just didn't think I just assumed I could find somebody here. Well, then I had the idea, well, why wait till you're 53? That's not that old, but why wait till you're 53? I mean, time matters. And I'm a big sports fan. And I just think in football, for example, every minute is just as important as anything else. In fact, you can win a game in the first quarter. You don't have to, you can win a game on the last play too, but think how stressful that is and how close you are to defeat. You can win a game early, get off to a big lead like Alabama does or some of these other top teams, and it's over. Score 5 runs in the first inning of a baseball game, and it's over. Get up 15-2 in a basketball game, and it can be over. And then you can enjoy the rest of the game. That'd be better than struggling to win a close game. Might be fun to watch, but it's just a lot more stressful. So if you're in your 20s, you know, you may still feel like you can find somebody in the West, but why not? Why not, if you can, at least kind of give yourself another option of a Filipina? Could be somebody from another country. Lots of guys are doing this. You can see that in YouTube. You know, search for, I don't know, search for first time meetup, American and Filipina. A lot of them will be younger, and start looking at some of their videos, and you're going to get more sent to your phone. And I've got some videos on that, and I've got some more prepared, because I didn't want to be 53 before I got married. I'm glad I did. And I don't want anyone else to have to wait that long, unless that's just the will of God. We don't know. So why not try to find somebody when you're younger, even if you have to go overseas, because there is appeal. You just have to make sure they know you're trustworthy, and you're a one woman man, which hopefully you are. Parabiology 101, one of my two top picks. One is a poor girl from a fishing family. The other is an electrical engineer, just graduated. Well, you got a lot to think about there, Parabiology 101. Older guys don't want to put up with Western women either. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get an amen to that. JBud 5000, a lot depends on whether you're going to live in the Philippines or bring her to the United States. And you're certainly right. You know what? I need to go back up here because I really don't want to miss any comments. So bear with me, please. Oh, for me, it was between Philippines and MGTOW because I just can't stand Western women anymore. Parabiology 101. Well, there's J-Bud's MGTOW always is the best decision. J-Bud has to slip that in there all the time, and that's okay, J-Bud. I think we all have some understanding of what's involved with MGTOW, and I don't know what else to say. I certainly am okay with you sharing that. Michael and Heidi, glad to see the decent younger men going to Philippines to seek out a good feminine woman. The American feminists can live a bitter life in everything of the world. Well, when you're losing, I mean, look, there's so much appeal to a Filipina. There is, I mean, and yeah, there's surely good American women, good Western women, but there's a reason so many people, even younger guys now, are thinking about a Filipina, even a woman from a different country than that, because they want a relationship. They want a relationship that's going to last the rest of their life. They've seen their parents get divorced. They've heard all kinds of negative comments, and they just don't want to be alone. And while they've got the energy and hopefully some finances, they can go out and look for that beautiful younger Filipina. Parabiology, if it weren't for the fact that I really want kids, I would probably end up MGTOW. And while you're mentioning children, Parabiology 101, how many younger Filipinas want children? Probably 100%. There could always be an exception, but I think you're going to end up rounding up that number to 100%. J-Bud, I understand you can go red pill. I don't get hypnotized by her beauty and forget your principles. Well, you're doing well if you don't get hypnotized by her beauty. Maybe because you've seen so many of them. Like a Filipina feels like she's average because she's surrounded by so many beautiful women. I now understand why they think they're just average. I'm going to view this one here. Yeah, Western women too busy. I will just say being, I don't know, playing the field. How about that? In fact, if I know how to release this, I just will. Let's see if I can find out how. Not by clicking that. Maybe I just did. I don't know. I don't know if I released that comment. J Bud, currently monk mode, but that's me. Now, come on, J Bud. I don't believe you're a monk mode. Come on. Unless you think that's just by circumstances. Monk mode. I don't know. That doesn't sound good to me. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. We're talking about whatever you want to talk about, but initially here, age gaps. If you want to talk about soulmates, that's a common perception in the Philippines. I did a video on that. Earthquakes, younger viewers or younger men looking to the Philippines for a wife. How do you feel about that? Is it competition? Are there good enough Filipinos to go around? You know, we can talk about that. I have been in monk mode for about a year now until I decided to find a Filipina. Oh, going there in December to meet. So parabiology was also in monk mode. You know, I'm glad I never quite got to that point. I just, I had not been married before, and I was very hungry to get married. I was just so bitterly frustrated. I didn't know why I couldn't find anybody here. And I suppose I could have found somebody earlier if somebody said, hey, why don't you consider finding something in the Philippines? Here's this website. Well, just didn't happen until I was 53. Then I jumped in head first. Dave Knutson. Thanks, Dave. Good to see you here tonight. I'm surprised many of you are here since I didn't announce it, since I haven't been feeling the greatest. Hard to trust these days, even with Filipinas, because of all the scammers. I thought I knew all of the scams and scenarios, but I recently found out the lady I was chatting had another boyfriend. She lied. Did you find out, Dave? And I hope that's not the woman that you were referring to the last time I remember you being on a live stream. I hope that's not who you're talking about. Did you find out, if you care to share, on Facebook? Did she slip up and say something? Did you find out, through the back door? And I'm glad you found out. The scammers compare notes, and just like anything else, they learn from each other what works, new ideas, and so it's very, very difficult for a website to be able to catch them all. So I'm not going to ask you to say any more, Dave Knutson. I just wonder if money, just curious if money was involved before you met in person. Michael and Heidi, I don't believe in chemistry, which is fleeting. Okay, one vote here for chemistry. I did a video on chemistry because I like to respond to comments I read out there, and a lot of people are, and it's not wrong to say you want to have chemistry. It's just that I'm going to look at that and say, okay, do you really need chemistry? How much chemistry do you need? How long is that chemistry going to last? How much chemistry did Aiza and I have? Was that a consideration when we got married? Nothing wrong with chemistry. As I mentioned in my chemistry video one time years ago in a church singles group, we were asked to talk about, like, of these 4 or 5 things, which was most important to you? And I picked chemistry. This is 20 years ago. And I explained why I thought that chemistry was really important to me. One of the women at the table, probably my age, very, very much was unhappy with me and was not bashful about saying why that was a bad idea. I should not put chemistry high on my list of things. And I know Rike has mentioned chemistry is important to him. Part of chemistry can be having things in common. And again, that's another topic, which I've done a video on. How many things do you have to have in common? I mean, you're starting a brand new relationship. Um, how many things in common is a so-called older Westerner going to have with a younger Filipina? Well, probably not as many as they might have if they stayed domestic with their relationship. You have time to develop common interests. Now, as far as chemistry, maybe that's something that would be a little bit harder to develop. Chemistry is fleeting. I do agree with you, Michael. It certainly can be. Age gaps and physical looks have nothing to do with marrying a woman with a mean heart. In worldly logic, you both could be tens, and she could still wreck your marriage. That's another way to look at it there, Michael. Um, just look at all the Hollywood relationships. They've got the looks, or you may even know people. They got married, they were younger, at the height of their attractiveness, and it just didn't last, you know. And then there's people that have a lot in common, and it doesn't last. There's people that seem to have good chemistry, and it doesn't last. So, I mean, those are not bad things. But you know, if you don't handle conflict very well, and you're arguing a lot or you're controlling a lot, the chemistry just took a big hit. And at some point, it may be, you know, irrevocable, you know, where you just can't recover from enough damage. Chemistry can go. I mean, look, even in my relationship with Aiza, we have good days and bad days. On the good days, you could say we have chemistry. On the bad days, you could say we don't. Um, Chemistry is not going to help me if we have a dispute. Learning to be understanding and apologetic and so on is going to really help the situation. Aiza is in the Philippines sending me messages, and I cannot see these messages, so I have to delete those. You know, chemistry, it's nice to have, but what you need to do to maintain that chemistry is something to think about. The looks are fleeting. I know that, you know, my wife is going to look differently in 10 or 15 years, and it doesn't matter to me because she has built up in our relationship a lot of credits. She's the woman I married. She's the woman that married me when nobody else really would. It seemed that it was so impossible. So when I look at her, I look at no matter how old she may be, I'm going to look at the woman in the pictures when she was 26 that gave me the time of day, that gave me her hand in marriage. And that's the one woman I'm going to see, and I'm going to see the beautiful way she's taking care of me, and so on. And that's the way I'm going to remember, think about my wife as she gets older. Parabiology 101. Awesome. You're going in December. February is a good time of the year. We're going in December as well, mid-December, for about a month, for the purpose of being there over Christmas and New Year's. I just hope I feel good enough to go. Can't believe it's been a month. What is the earthquake update? Philippines On Demand, POD, posted this on his Facebook site. There have been, and this was several hours ago when I saw it, 5 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. And I think this is in Mindanao, maybe even southern Mindanao. Maybe Michael has an update. 5 in the last 24 hours, 18 in the last 7 days. Aiza's been there for about 2 weeks. And every day she'll say, you know, I can feel it. 44 in the last 30 days. So 44 in the last 30 days, 18 in the last 7, which is a higher percentage, 5 in the last 24 hours, which is a higher percentage. Philippines on Demand on his Facebook shows some damage to places out there. There's lots of videos out there. I feel like Larry King for some reason when I do this. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it just looks strange. Lots of YouTube videos out there on what's going on. Usually 6'6", 6'5", 6'4" range, maybe a 4'7" thrown in there. And as my first experience, we have a home there. I got my wife there right now. I'm seeing videos of hospitals taking, or pictures of patients being removed from hospital rooms and put out there on the street, sidewalk, outside the building. Very disconcerting, especially when, if the building is too close to them still. That's an unsettling sight, to be sure. The only update I can tell you is they are still getting, I guess, tremors, aftershocks, and that is what they are expecting. That's what the news told them to expect. Michael and Heidi, check out my video about dating on my channel. Are you right with God? Marriage comes from the spirit, not chemistry. Keep that in mind, Michael and Heidi. I'll have to check that out, Michael. I have been to your channel, and I'm sure I subscribe to it. That is important for me. That was my only must-have with my wife, was marrying a Christian. That doesn't mean she's going to be perfect. That doesn't mean we're going to act like Christians all the time. But it does mean we have a groundwork, a foundation to build on. Now, Michael and Heidi says to J Bud, 2 major earthquakes in 3 days. Okay, 6.6 to 6.8. I know the first one was originally graded as 6.8 and then downloaded, but it doesn't make much difference, if there's damage that's been done, or even worse, loss of life. It's not the coffee. I just don't feel good. But I don't recall these earthquakes being a big deal when I married my wife. Now, things could get interesting here. Christmas trees. Hello, Christmas trees. She just hit her comment. Can I remember what she said? Okay. Something about, I think she said something about renaming the channel to Christian Perverts. Okay. Hey, Michael and Heidi, you just got that wrench. You haven't had much practice, Michael, so I got to commend you for your quick reflexes. Yeah, Christmas trees reminds me of comments that she had in that video called How to Respond to Age Gap Protesters. It's a live video. You can scroll through the comments. There's a lot of them now, mostly by Christmas trees. And her belief is that a Christian man is still a pervert because he wants to marry a younger woman. My response to that was, there's nothing biblical to say that a Christian man or non-Christian man, well, let's focus on Christian because that's what her comment was, that a Christian man can't look for a younger woman. If that Christian man feels that he cannot find somebody where they are, then, they certainly have the right to go look for a younger woman somewhere else. Christmas tree is being very rude. Probably used up feminist troll. Linda Lowther, could you please ask your moderator to stop booting me? I did not hide any comments. J Bud or excuse me, Michael or Phil's the Phoenix, if you're still around, you might check into Linda Lowther, I'm not familiar with Linda Lowther. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know what your comment refers to, but if you have to, okay, Linda Lowther, no one is hiding anything or booting you. So, comment away. I don't know what's going on there. She is just concerned about exploitation. Well, she is concerned about exploitation. And I can tell her, look, she doesn't have to marry this older foreigner. She can say no. And then her stance is, well, the extreme poverty, she really doesn't have a choice like I see it as a choice. And so she does it out of desperation, which makes it, prostitution, which means the Christian man, no matter his morals, is only doing it to exploit her, to take advantage of her. And I would disagree with that because, again, you have to give the Filipina some credit that she can make up her own mind. She doesn't have to marry. Yes, she doesn't have to marry or get involved with an older foreigner. Does she? Not everyone does. It's an option, and she certainly does not have to. That older foreigner is not forcing her and has no legal capacity to force her to marry him. What I am concerned about as a man who married a younger woman, I want to be good to her. I'm not going to exploit her. I don't think the way I treat her and having her future in mind is not exploitation. I don't think it's sexploitation either. I give my wife more credit than that. She was 26. Jay Budd, are you familiar with Linda, or are you just saying hello? Why not put yourself in a situation where you have a young daughter? Would you really feel great if she were 21 and a 50 or 60-year-old came sniffing around? No, I would not feel great about that. I would certainly, I don't have a daughter, but if I did, I would like to think I had been keeping my eye on some quality guys her age. And I would like to think that she would be concerned about my opinion on certain guys that she could go out with. Here in America, you don't see that. It's kind of a moot point and a hypothetical question, because here, normal younger woman of that age isn't going to be approached by somebody 50 or 60. So I would not be comfortable with it, and it wouldn't happen either. Yeah, if someone willingly agrees, it's not exploitation, because she doesn't have to say no. Many Filipinas do not marry older foreign men and aren't even interested in older foreign men. And if the poor man, asks for her permission to marry, asks for her hand in marriage, he talks to the family like I did, says, here's what I like about your daughter, and this is why I would like your permission to marry her. And you do that respectfully, and she wants to marry you, and you've been married for a while and you're getting along well, trying to build your marriage and improve your marriage. That's not exploitation. It's not exploitation at all. Right. If she willingly agrees. You can't force any woman to marry you. Linda J. Budd, I'm not going to bore you with my job at human trafficking, and guys marrying a Panay aren't even remotely related. Yeah, that's where you kind of lose. Someone with that argument kind of loses some respect, some clout when they start making these comparisons, because You go online, if you go online, or you meet in person, you talk about marriage. The man knows he can't do anything to force the woman to like him, to be interested in him, to marry him. That same woman, for all we know, has the potential to marry many other guys, including younger men. That same Filipina has a mind. She has sources of people to talk to. She can put together thoughts. She can think about the future. She can talk to this man that's interested in her and ask any question she wants. And he has the right to answer those questions. And if she wants to marry him, he wants to marry her. Her parents are okay with it. The government is okay with it. I mean, there's exploitation, but that's not exploitation at all. Yeah, it's not, what do Christmas trees say? Prostitution. No, it's not prostitution. It's not, what's the other term? Being a pedophile. It's not that. Nothing even close to that. You are 100% incorrect and you know it. A prostitute agrees to it, but she is still a victim, usually has background of incest, abuse. Okay, but still, Linda Lowther, maybe your Christmas tree, that's fine. But yeah, she has a choice, but that's not marriage. She is not with a guy that loves her. She is not with a guy that's going to sign paperwork to support her for the next 10 years. She's not with a guy that's going to risk his financial future. She's not with a guy that wants to provide for her and help her and be good to her. She has not talked with some prostitute or some guy that about her future, because he doesn't care about her. That guy is going to pump her, dump her, and move on to the next notch in his belt. Nothing at all like the man that wants to provide for a woman, be good to her, take on risk of who knows what will happen. It's called marriage, and marriage always involves risk. Marriage does not have rules about geography, about age. There are certain principles that will make it successful or not successful. And for the man and woman who decides, you know what, this is my best option, it's not prostitution at all. It's nothing whatsoever like that. Parabiology 101. If he is a good man and would take good care of her, it would not bother me at all, and that's good. You see, some of the comments here are similar to the ones in the live stream, and they may actually be the same person. All right, the scoreboard is lighting up here. So Michael deleted some unsavory comments, I can tell. Right? Not if it's willing, it's not exploitation. Prostitute is not a victim. Nice try. She's doing that. She's getting paid. She knows exactly what she's getting into. And no, she doesn't have to be involved with prostitution. JBud 5000, those men you're describing were mostly Chinese, Korean, and Japanese who basically enslaved their wives. And so nobody wants that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Linda Luther is Christmas trees. I don't know. And maybe there's just a big jealousy component here, because if you know these women, I mean, I don't live in any Fil-Am couple's living room or bedroom, but the ones we know, seem like they're getting along just fine, just like we would appear to be getting along just like anyone else. We're not a circus act. Linda Lowther, you are a liar. Disgust is obvious and easy to read on people. There is no disgust here. A lot of messages being deleted here from Linda Lowther. And Jay Budd, I respect your opinion, Linda, but if the marriage works, then how can anyone be critical? There may be some jealousy there. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for everybody still here tonight. Well, I hope I can hold out here. If the marriage works, no man, hopefully, marries a Filipina hoping it doesn't work, thinking he's not going to put effort into it. A lot of us guys want to marry a younger Filipina because we can. It's an option. We like that option. We want to be good to our wives in physical realm, in financial realm. We want to be good to them. There's no law against it. And what matters is your intentions. My intentions, in fact, I wish Christmas trees or Linda would watch all my videos. That might soften them up a bit. I want the guys to treat the Filipina right. I have a very Filipina-friendly channel. It's a channel based on love, which is based on sacrifice, which is based on putting the other person first, which is based on forgiving. And those go a long way to help a relationship work. Something just fell off my head. I don't know what that was. Hopefully nothing with legs on it. I'll have to watch that later. I did wash my hair yesterday. So yeah, if it works, it works. I mean, if the woman, two people communicate, they make decisions. There's paperwork to sign for. There's embassy interview and stuff like that. And if the guy wants to marry her and be good to her and can convince her of that, and she believes him, it's her decision to marry him. Maybe Linda is miserable. Maybe she knows people who have. Maybe she knows people who are sorry that they married a Westerner, but she probably also knows people who are not sorry they married a Westerner. Thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Skip through all these deleted comments here. Michael's going to ask for compensation for his work here today. Good thing you're here, Michael, and I didn't even tell you that we were going to do a live stream tonight. Yeah, keep this positive for the good. I appreciate that. If you want to read all the negative comments that I did not delete, that's there in the comments section of that live stream. How to respond to age gap protesters. You can find that on the channel. You can see it at the very top here of the live chat. And well, I don't know if it would be shocking to you, but it would be a great education on what the detractors say and how you might be prepared yourself if you're so inclined to respond to them. Ken Active Kindness is here. You missed out on some fireworks, Ken. Smash the like, not the eggs. Yeah, thank you for your thumbs up. My mind need only 10 years up, 10 years down. That worked for me, not all. And even Christmas trees would agree with you there. But a lot of guys are looking for younger women, and it's up to them. I mean, they're the ones that are responsible for making that relationship work. And we do have freedom to make those decisions, and that's why finding the right person to marry can be kind of difficult because there aren't a lot of restrictions. Linda is expressing the opinion of most older women on the subject of age gap relationships. well, there you go. And, I guess if you're going to marry someone with an age gap relationship, and I forgot to get back when we were talking about being in the Philippines versus being here. If you're going to be here, where it's going to be more difficult, you really need to be confident in what you're doing. You need to. That's why you might want to look at these comments in the video from the other one that I mentioned, so you can be sure of yourself, because other people are going to say this. And at the very least, you get to go through those questions and say, this is how I would respond. This is how Bob responded. I would have done it differently. But that is what's out there. That's why I called it, how do you respond to age gap protesters? You don't have to respond to them, but there's a lot out there. Appreciate the thumbs up. I really do. Opinion is not law, just feelings. Each marriage made for that couple. I agree with you, Ken. And I look at Aiza and my marriage as a match made in heaven. I could have married someone else, I guess, but didn't work out that way. I married my Aiza, and she is the one that I am investing all my energy in. Yeah, you have to just not care what they think. I just want to make sure that there isn't some people out there that it gets under their skin. That's why I try to respond calmly to this, because then they could start thinking, well, maybe I don't need this. Maybe I'm making a mistake. That's why I do try to rebut, these comments without, and you'll see that in the live stream. Michael is trying to keep it clean here. It isn't going away, but you have to just not care what they think. Works for them, not your way, because you are not them. Simple as that. Yeah, we make up our own minds. Maureen, Michelle, and Kent, happy Halloween, guys. Happy Halloween to you. Now, Maureen is married to, or is involved in an age gap relationship. And Maureen, I'm sure, is well aware that there is some disdain among some women for an age gap relationship. And Maureen, is one of the women that I was talking about that is going to exercise her own mind to think through the age gap situation and what her options are. And just like my wife decided that, she was okay with an age gap relationship. My wife's cutoff was 55, by the way, not, 85. And some Filipinos will say 20 to 85, it doesn't matter. And that would be a red flag for me. Thank you for your thumbs up, Maureen, Michelle, and Ken. I'm glad you're here tonight, along with Ken Active Kindness and some other gentlemen have been here for a while. Halloween. It's Halloween here in the Philippines, though. It's not, unless. Now hold on. Is Halloween on November 1st in the Philippines? I think my wife might have said that. Rodney Full Circle is here. Good evening to you, and thank you for being here, Rodney. Age gaps, soulmates, earthquakes, younger viewers, since I have a lot of younger viewers now, which is great. I want to help anyone of any age find a Filipina to marry. Thank you for being able to take or have time from work to be here tonight. Yeah, Rodney Full Circle. He's alive and well. That's good. Ken is alive and well. Walt Tolander, share in truth, take action in love, not in hate. Agreed. J Bud 5000, MGTOW men going their own way. If your way is marrying a younger woman, then do your thing. Just don't worry about what others think you're not marrying them. That's right. You don't have to live with them. You do have to live with your own decisions. And there's nothing wrong with thinking over your decisions and talking with other people about your decisions, people you trust. I mean, please find somebody that knows you, somebody that can be honest with you, somebody that has some wisdom. Talk to them about a situation with an age gap. talk about what they think you might have to know about, the future with that. Most of us are interested in age gap relationships. Obviously, some work out and some don't. And obviously, you can think about what's going to happen 15, 20 years down the road, but you may not even get to 15 to 20 years down the road. You just don't know. November 1st, All Saints Day. Thank you, Phil's Phoenix. All Souls Day is November 2nd. My service anniversary is November 1st. What does that make it? 39 years? November 1st. How is the desert life, Phil's to Phoenix? Ken asks. Phil's been real busy. Wife, citizenship, parents here, big day for the whole, or big times for the family. That's for sure. And Phil's, is earthquakes affecting where your wife's family is from? Or is this pretty much restricted to Mindanao here? Been a lot of earthquakes lately. Another concern for Aiza, when she's over there before she gets back, is earthquakes, buildings falling on her, whatever. Just don't like to hear about the earthquakes. I do not seek a soulmate in my life. I seek someone who is willing to be loved, willing to love me and respect me in return. Rodney, full circle. Soulmate talk. Soulmate, it's a term that's out there. I mean, you can use it, but then you start thinking, well, wait a minute, what am I saying here with a soulmate? That sounds pretty serious. In fact, it sounds very exclusive, like that's the only one. And if a person feels that thank you for the thumbs up. If a person feels like there's only one person out there for them to marry, how are they ever going to make that decision? That would be so difficult. What happens if something happens to that one person through death, or it just doesn't work out? Then what are you going to do? Never be ashamed of finding happiness. Well, yeah, it's your life, it's your marriage prospects. We have so much freedom and availability if you look outside your own country. Research that I did not talk favorably about age gap relationships, Rodney says. However, I noticed that there was a specific challenge with North American age gap relationships. But I hear lots of Filipinas talk about favorably about their relationship, and when I've seen videos, they seem to be looking like they're doing just fine. What you see isn't always what you get, but they certainly don't seem like they're running for the hills. Went from 90 to 55 faster than a trucker that just saw a state trooper. We had our first snow here, Phil's the Phoenix, here in Nebraska just a couple of days ago. Not snowing today, but kind of cold. Use a space shuttle parachute, help you slow down. Rodney, Phil's Phoenix, long time I've seen your channel. Phil's has been really busy. Some of her mom's family is in that area, but safe and no damage, thankfully. Her hometown is on Cebu Island, too far away. Find one person, commit to one person, and treat them like a soulmate. It may just be no more difficult than that. I mean, it's like going to the store. I mean, there's so many options for stuff. You need toothpaste, get toothpaste, but there's so many selections, and a wife isn't toothpaste, but, you don't have to take 30 years of evaluating women to marry. And that's pretty much what we did, Rodney. My wife wanted to make sure I wasn't a player, so she wanted to focus on each other, and she would focus on me, which we did. We got married in 54 days, engaged in 18 days, and it's just been us. Once I eliminated everybody else, it was just me and my wife, and now it's still me and my wife, just the way I like it. Yeah, take it or leave it. Get good advice. You owe it to yourself to get good advice. You can watch videos, although some YouTube YouTubers are kind of jaded, but it just makes sense in anything. Get advice before you go out and do something. Rodney, my girl is 20 years younger than I am, and there were challenges that are specific to our age difference, but we're committed to each other, and we overcame those challenges with Jesus. And Jesus is God. He has nothing to say about age gap relationships. What the Lord cares about is how you treat the person you marry. In fact, Ephesians 5 is how he instructs to teach the person we marry, whoever that is, and that is to give up your life for her. That means you regard her as more important than yourself, and you live and invest your life in her to make it better. You're her servant leader, and if you married a good woman, she's going to respond to that. Happiness is being single for me, but it's being married for you, so let the good times roll. Whether single or married, Jay Bud, there's difficulties and challenges. Marriages, and marriage has its challenges. Things come up all the time, but it's nice to meet challenges with somebody that you have made a commitment to. Try to keep up here. Praise journey. Hope I didn't miss you earlier. Thank you for being here. Your fiance is 18 and you are 46. This, pretty much our age gap. I did online dating for 2 months, searching for a life mate, 18 to 30. Most of the women in the middle 20s were too busy in their careers for me. Well, best of luck for you and in your relationship. Hopefully your fiance is mature enough. I'm sure you've asked her some questions that she needs to hear and needs to respond to. And I'm glad you're 46 years old. Earlier we had Parabiology 101, 47, I think, and girlfriend or fiance 22. So obviously you're looking for an age gap relationship and feel like you know what you're getting into. Praise journey, I dated one woman closer to my age, but seemed to have a lot of bitterness towards men and was very discouraging and argumentative. Yeah. Age is a number only. Maureen, Michelle, and Ken. There's a woman, a Filipina, who also is involved in an age gap relationship. And from her perspective, she knows there are people that disagree with her. There's people in life that disagree with a man that's looking at an age gap relationship. At the end of the day, we have to make what we consider is the best choice for us. Praise journey, after a couple of months, I really found the one that really moved my heart. She is encouraging and loving everything I ever wanted in a partner. We plan to be married in January. Is that going to be in the Philippines, or do you plan on using a 90-day fiance visa? Yeah, give up your life for her, just like Jesus gave up his life for us, his church. And I have been rewarded with that, Rodney, full circle. However, I still have much to learn. I will spend a lifetime learning how to love her. Yeah, you don't have to have everything down right now. And your love will be forged through trials and difficulties. That's just the way it is. And if you're committed to each other, then you just keep working through those. Jimmy Buffers, 18 and 46, are you insane? Well, I'm sure he's not insane. You'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's thought long and hard about what he is getting into. Yeah, Parabiology 101, 47, Filipina 21, 22. Well, maybe a child practically, but she's certainly eligible to be married, and I'm willing to bet does not have the mentality of a child. There are people in their 40s with the mentality of a child. Well, you can say it's not right, Jimmy, but there's nothing out there other than personal opinion to draw that conclusion, in my opinion. Linda Lowther, maybe. Could be. I know she's got multiple accounts since she may be pulling them out here. Process of the K-1 visa. Yeah, it's 2019. Okay, Jimmy, then don't marry a young girl, but don't talk smack about guys who do. J Bud 5000. Well, if major red flag, that's something that Praise Journey is responsible for in making that decision. It may not be for everyone, but that's his decision, and it's not anybody else's decision, and I'm sure he's put some thought into it. Rodney, full circle. I have to admit, I spent a great deal of time studying, researching, and thinking very hard and seeking the advice of others before committing to my angel. And you should. You should. That's good. I love her for the person she is, and that's what she needs. Ask for an 18-year-old's mentality and maturity that has a great deal to do with how she was raised. She might be a lot more mature than that in actuality. Yeah. Isn't even developed yet. Brain is not fully developed until it's age 24 or I think 25. That may be, but you can get married anywhere at that age. She's more mature than women my age. Yeah, I can see that, depending how she grew up. Yeah, girls who were 12 or 13 had to marry old men hundreds of years ago. It's different now, and but that's just the point. The younger Filipina does not have to marry somebody today. She just doesn't have to. Phil's Phoenix, thank you for stopping by. I do hope you have an enjoyable evening. New York Mets fan, 2006, thank you for being here. Nothing wrong with 18-year-old, but you must support her. She will not be able to get a good job with no education in U.S. or Philippines. If she has, well, I mean, I'm assuming she would have a high school degree, and there's lots of jobs here where she could work. And yeah, I don't know. Christmas tree is big on attraction, and again, the attraction thing, that's up to the Filipina. She's not as interested in physical in that situation, but again, she doesn't have to marry an older foreigner, or she doesn't have to marry that older foreigner. And we're getting into the attraction thing again. Western women are attracted to me also. I just don't want them. Remarked by Parabiology 101. She's very responsible and is working a full-time job in the Philippines. That certainly helps. Now, Praise Journey, you're going to no doubt be met with a lot of skepticism in your own country, just like some of the skepticism here tonight. Just have to be sure of yourself and your reasoning for marrying her. It is true that you do not need a 4-year PhD degree to get a good job in America. there are a lot of good paying jobs, including entrepreneurship, that don't require a university degree. Um, I do think, I do agree with Christmas trees that there is a big monetary component in that. Nothing wrong with that, but she doesn't have to marry an older foreigner if she does not want to. So everybody, I appreciate everybody here tonight. As you know, I'm okay with letting people see what other people are thinking about. Thank you, Michael and Heidi, for being a good moderator tonight. We got a little flavor of what was in that live stream the other day. And this topic will never go away. I just hope that, I have been able to treat you from that other video about how do you respond to age gap protesters in here tonight. You can either just shrug it all off if you want, but just don't be upset with the comments, because you're going to run into it where you are. You just need to be sure of yourself. Double check your motives. Make sure you're committed to the young woman, and if she's committed to you, don't be doubting her. Trust what she has to say. You're married to each other. You're not married to some of these others. Bob, no skateboarding or country line dancing for a while, J Bud. And that's really got me down, because I was really looking to skateboard down some rails and risk breaking my neck and doing some line dancing, but it's bad. I don't hurt during the day. I've stopped taking the pain pills, except for the going to bed, and then I wake up with this nerve damage in my foot, and then my knee starts hurting. I can't get comfortable, so I sleep way too much. I don't know what we're going to do in 2 weeks. So go back to the doctor, surgeon, and we'll talk about returning to work, but not felt good since I got back. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's something wrong with me. I went to the doctor today or the lab for tests. Maybe next week they will reveal something. Jimmy Buffers. Doesn't matter how confident and nice you are. Doesn't matter how sure you are. No 18-year-old on the planet wants a 47-year-old man. Ain't going to happen unless in extreme cases. Yet this woman is a fiance of this man. Praise journey, again, it's not about her age. It's about her as a person. She is ready to start a beautiful life with me, and I'm ready to start my life over again. And, please avail yourself of my channel, Praise Journey, and others that you trust as you go through your relationship. We have a message held for review. Good catch, Mighty, or Michael, I assume. Michael and Heidi. I don't know. Yeah. Oops. I'll show you the comment. I'm very open with allowing comments. I thank you for everybody still here tonight. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be so popular, because, man, I don't feel good, and I've got to get something to eat. But we'll keep going here for a while, see how it goes. Obviously, Christmas trees is very adamant in her opinion, but this is just something you got to be sure about. So if you can handle her comments and it just takes you back to your beliefs and your commitment, then no problem whatsoever. Yeah, you always have the critics and haters, and you're seeing it here live and in color. And age gap is just part of life. It's not going anywhere soon. I just care about how the guys treat the women. And I don't know how anybody could look at my channel and not understand that. I'm all about, uh, number one, how he treats the Filipina. And if he does that, I think he'll be fine. So age gap relationships getting a lot of play here tonight. And so we might be cutting it off here soon. Um, earthquake situation. Again, Mindanao, a lot of earthquakes going on there. Every time I talk to my wife, she says, I can feel something. And we're going to have to make sure our house has enough insurance to, cover some kind of disaster over there. Well, and I'm sure Praise Journey plans on providing for her the best he can. He's 46 years old. He probably worked for quite a while. Don't know his financial situation. Um, Jimmy's background could be Christmas trees with another name. Yeah, interviews, some Panays say one thing, some Panays say something else. Um, the thing, I guess, all I can do is tell Christmas trees that there are guys that legitimately want to be good, honest husbands to these women, and the women don't have to marry these guys, and they're getting married. There's nothing illegal about it. Depending on his motives, there's nothing immoral about it either. I love my fiance like Christ loves the church. I'm glad you do. Praise Journey, and you since she is 18, you're probably going to you might have more initial ups and downs, but you keep loving her and telling her why you love her the way she is and treating her in a way she knows nobody else will treat her. There's no reason to think that you're not gonna be all right. And so it goes. Yeah, there is stereotyping to a high degree. Some of what she says makes sense from her perspective, but the foreigner has a different perspective, and he has, he wants to get married. Rodney, full circle. Jimmy, you are making a lot of assumptions. All relationships have challenges. Love is just something that happens, or is not something that happens by chance. It is something that you do. Age is no guarantee for anything. Absolutely. People get married with great physical attraction. Doesn't work. They have lots of money. Doesn't work. They say they're committed to each other. Still doesn't work. Jimmy, if it's a pseudonym for Christmas trees, is an Asian woman in her 30s. Don't know if she's married or not. It's up to her if she wants to say something about that. Well, if you bring her to the West in the last 10 years, they'll give her $100. Sounds like give him $100. Sounds like you should give him, $100,000. You seem to feel like that has absolutely no chance of success. Jay Bud, I think Christmas trees kind of digs me. Women like her see MGTOW guys as the ultimate challenge. Well, I wouldn't challenge Jay Bud because he's always got a solid response. We don't even know if Jimmy is a male or a female. Maybe she does know people that married someone their own age and are miserable. Who knows? Jimmy buffers. I'm no Brad Pitt, but would rather have someone who really loves me. Maybe Jimmy is not Christmas trees. I don't know. It's a good comment, though. You'd rather have someone who really loves you. Um, that's a fair comment. But now you're saying that the only reason she would marry you would be money. That's going to be a big part of it anyway. But if the man feels loved like I do, that's real. I'm getting what I want. Because love is something you prove. Love is something you do. It's an action. It's a verb. Somebody could tell you, I love you, and yet you know they don't, because they don't show it and you don't feel loved. Jimmy, you can have all the American women you like. Make the check too. Confident that it will work out. That's good. Could be. I don't know. Jimmy buffers. I'm trans, actually. Ladyboy. Rodney, age, education, common interests, same religion. These things don't make marriages work. They can, but they don't make them work. Loving on purpose, hard work, and commitment makes marriage work. You have to roll up your sleeves, do things a certain way. Because you're right, Rodney, the age, education, common interest, chemistry, looks, money, all of these things have still ended up not working out. Big Rob, hey, thanks for joining by here. We've been going for almost 2 hours. Best of luck to you, Big Rob, as you are overseas currently, about to film on your adventures overseas, are you not? Rodney, there needs to be some attraction. It's not only important for the male. There's nothing wrong with that comment. There needs to be some attraction. I think it's best if there is some attraction on both the part of the man and the woman. There's nothing wrong with that. Ultimately, though, the woman has to decide what's best for her. I don't want Filipinas to be mercenaries. I don't want Filipinas to feel like they have to marry somebody or obligated for somebody. I want them to marry somebody that loves them and thinks they're going to take care of them. Yeah, thanks for joining, Big Rob. Think feminism means equality of genders, not sure how it means bitter. Well, feminism, we talk about it all night, and I will be passed out if that happens, but I don't know. Has there ever been that much inequality? I don't know. Things are just going downhill in this country, and feminism has a lot to do with it. Okay, December, we're going to be overseas as well, Big Rob, and I wish you all the best with you and yours. You guys should treat these poor girls how you would want your own daughters to be treated. Otherwise, it is sin. Well, our own daughters aren't going to be marrying somebody, with an age gap. What we do want for our daughters is they marry somebody that can convince us that they have their best interest in mind and will talk to us first about marrying our daughter. J. Bud Bob, we appreciate the effort tonight. Entertaining show, but you're looking drained, brother. Maybe close. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I got some stomach issue. I haven't felt good since the surgery. I don't know. I just don't know what to do. Keep getting rest, I guess. That is a solid point, Jimmy. And I have to admit that I was open to a relationship with my girl because I was attracted to her. Anytime a man, again, I want to say never, but a man is almost always going to be attracted to a woman to marry her. It's just natural. And like I said last time and in the comments section, it's more natural for a woman to not have to be as attracted to a man as he is to a woman. Yeah, trolls are going to be here. I don't have too many trolls, really. It's pretty uncomplicated that way. Solid point, Jimmy. I have to admit, though, that my view of age gap relationships has been influenced by my studies of the Filipino culture. But again, you make a solid point. Nothing wrong with getting all the knowledge and information you can, interview the people you can, make a decision, but then you got to stick with it. Jimmy says, I met a couple like this that intrigued me, so I've been reading about it and watching stuff. Don't know why. It's fascinating. I can tell you probably most Fil-Am marriages with age gaps are just pretty routine in a lot of ways, like anybody else. Big Rob, good luck to you and your channel and everybody here that has a channel. Trying to spare us. Well, guys that are marrying a younger Filipina have hopefully heard all these challenges. I want them to hear these challenges. If they can hear these challenges that Christmas Tree and Jimmy Buffers says, then and they're still resolute in marrying a Filipina, then that probably means they can handle it. Some universals. Well, there are, and there's an overlapping of interests here with a younger Filipina making some concessions to marry an older foreigner. Yeah, she's many times making some concessions. Okay, you agree that women can overlook appearance more than a man, but there is a limit. True. And the things that they're likely to overlook appearance for would be character, honesty, trust, loyalty, the ability to, love her and take good care of her. Yeah, Jimmy, I saw some YouTube channels by Panay's with old white men. They talk a lot about shopping. Well, to each his own. Well, I mean, us Westerners aren't dense. I mean, I'd like to think we exercise our mind when we make these decisions. Some guys don't do very well. They don't see uh, things very well and they make bad decisions. And Praise Journey, yeah, I'm glad to hear that. You need to commit your life to her no matter what. Come through thick or thin, and be good to her, love her, teach her, the teach her love God, teach her who God is, and I believe you love her. Rodney Full Circle, marrying someone much younger than myself, though, does present challenges that are unique to our age differences. However, I would argue that those challenges are not game enders. Well, it's up to that couple to not be destroyed, and just making a prediction, and that's all it is. It's a prediction. You think it's likely that this won't work out. That's not going to change his mind. And I know you have a great concern about the Filipinas and other Asian women, and that's understandable. Again, these women are not being coerced to do anything, and some of them, are treated maybe better than anyone else would treat them. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am very appreciative of everybody being here tonight. Thank you so much I just decided to do it on the spur of the moment. Um, if you haven't given me a thumbs up, I appreciate that now. And thank you all very much for your contributions tonight. Jimmy, you too. Uh, you can have your alternate opinion. That's fine. I believe in free speech. I don't want to censure anyone. I try to respond to these comments as much as I can. We're grown men. We can hear these comments, and you can keep firing away if you want. But you need to be careful. I do I do have a limit to that eventually. But I think it has been educational in a way that a lot of channels are not showing. And so I hope this video will do well. Thank you, Jimmy. I do hope I feel better. I just don't know what happened since surgery. So until next time, and I can't move too fast here, I almost passed out. I will release a video here on Saturday and Sunday, 2 parts, short ones. How long does it take to know a Filipina? So that'll be coming up this weekend. How long does it take to know a Filipina? And if you're interested, stay tuned for that. That will be released later. And until then, till next time, this is Bob. Thank you for joining me tonight on Love Beyond the Sea.